Get the short Mars mantra MP3 at JasonGallant.ca.
Om Angarakaya Namaha. Om Angarakaya Namaha. Om Angarakaya Namaha. Om Angarakaya.
It's important to let go of what no longer serves you. But here's a question for you. What happens when being you no longer serves you? Right? There's so many times that you may discard possessions because they no longer serve you. You know, old pairs of shoes or clothing or even electronics or cars or things, you trade them in or change them. What if you and everything you think about yourself no longer serves you? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to let that go too? What if you can? What if that's what this whole spiritual thing is about? What if? The thing is that what is here will exist regardless of what thoughts exist about it. In other words, I don't have to think or hold on to some group of thoughts in order for existence to happen. I will still exist anyway, even if I'm not thinking about myself, about the limitations or lack thereof at all times. I could exist anyway, even if I'm not thinking or carrying a story about this vehicle. You see, the more of a story you carry, the more things that you are thinking about yourself, positive and negative, the more you will suffer. Because what happens is that you're so busy using up all of your awareness and all of your attention on thoughts that there's no or little awareness left to truly experience here. And experiencing here is where all the pleasure is. Now, the funny thing is a lot of people have been so busy writing a story. It's like the great American novel or great English novel or Canadian novel, whatever, or Australian novel, wherever you are, Swiss novel, I don't care what it is. But it's like a great novel that you've invested so much time and effort into. When somebody finally rips that book away from you and says, hey, let's just burn it, you're like, wait a second, I put a lot of time into this. Are you sure I really need to let this go? And that's the way it is with the story that you've written about yourself. All of the expectations of the main character, all of the successes and the failures. And like I said, if you're enjoying the story, have fun with it. I'm not saying that it's bad. But if you wish to deepen your experience of this moment, it makes sense that you have to turn your eyes away from the book in order to experience what's beyond the book. You see, you let go of the self-obsession. You let go of being your greatest fanboy. Always watching yourself, everything you're doing. Look what I'm doing now. Look at how I'm walking across the street. Look at, it's this obsession with telling yourself a story that is already happening. And you're just repeating, it's like an echo. This echo isn't necessary in order for you to enjoy your life. You don't have to experience things 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times. It's like you experience it, then you think about it, then you experience it again, and you keep on. And then of course there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening in front of you, but you're ignoring that because you're too busy thinking about the past. You see, this endless cycle of being caught in thinking about reality is not reality itself. I can tell you to think about eating ice cream, but that will be much different than really eating ice cream, wouldn't it? I can tell you to think about having a relationship, but the reality of a relationship is much different than what you thought. I'm sure you've learned this lesson many times where you had a dream or an idea about how things were gonna be, and then you might actually manifest that dream or idea at some point and you realize, well, it's quite different than what I thought. You know, there's this one guru talking about everybody wants to be king or queen, right? But then when they're king, they realize, wow, being a king is a pain in the ass. It's like, I've got to manage this person, that person. I got to make sure I take care of the kingdom. You know, just this never-ending people pulling at me from all angles. But from the peasant perspective, being king seemed like a good idea. So what I'm saying to you is the ideas that you have, let them go. The ideas about yourself. Experience yourself for the first time. I made a video on that. Experience every moment as if it's the first. When you let go of the story, when you stop obsessing about the story and rereading the story of yourself, the opportunity for discovery happens. And that discovery leads you to a greater form of love. It leads you to discovering the truth about you and all things. This discovery can only happen if you are open to observing what is before you. Not thinking about it, just being with it. See? But this can only happen when you stop being stuck in your story of thinking. See, people think thinking and existing are the same thing. They're not. It's the whole I think, therefore I am type thing. No. The ego is, but you can exist with or without thinking. Your existence is not dependent on it. If you have a silent mind for a moment, you don't die, right? And so it is here. You don't have to stop thoughts. You just have to stop living solely in thoughts. Thinking happens. Thinking is okay. You can still think to do things. But you are not the thoughts, and you don't need to constantly obsess about you. Think about you are this, you are that. Let go of all of these thoughts. These are all limitations. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that thinking and knowing is the same as experiencing. Thinking is something different. Most often, thinking is nothing more than a filtration process of something you already know, something you've already experienced. Thinking and experiencing are not the same thing. And if you wish to experience more deeply in your life, you have to let go of the self-observation at some point. Let go of the self-talk, the internal dialogue that's going on constantly. Just be here without talking to yourself about it. Be here without being a narrator about every moment of your life. Just drop the narrator. Drop the you. I guarantee it'll be a good thing. You're not going to disappear or anything. There's nothing to fear about it. So I hope this helps. Take care for now.